first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
The drama just went up a notch. Now Prince's name is being brought up in Diddy's trial. Nobody saw that coming. Sure, Jason Lee had already spilled the tea about Diddy throwing some seriously wild parties at Prince's place, but this twist, yeah, nobody had that on their bingo card.
Have health problems?
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him abusing drugs. He worked out, so, that also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young?
Now picture this. What if Prince had cameras rolling the entire time? He wasn't just private, he was calculated, always thinking 10 steps ahead, always staying in control. He never showed up to those wild parties himself, which made people think he just didn't want any part of the chaos. But now, the whispers are getting louder. What if he actually had receipts, recorded everything that went down in his house, and just kept it locked away? Some folks even think he handed that footage off to someone before he passed. And with how everything's unfolding right now, there's real talk that those tapes might make their way into court. Crazy, right? And that's not even the wildest part. Even the jury selection had people stunned. Like, jaws literally hit the floor. Big names were being thrown around, some we expected, but others were total curveballs. Michelle Williams, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, Lauren London. I mean, what is happening?
November 31st, 1999. My publishing contract with Warner Chappell expired, thus emancipating the name I was given before birth, Prince, from all long-term restrictive documents.
All right, let's talk about the names we did expect to get dragged into this whole mess, starting with Cassie. She was the first to come forward and drop that bombshell lawsuit, and man, her claims were nothing short of disturbing. According to her, a bunch of Diddy's own crew, bad boy employees, assistants, even security, witnessed what was going on, but not one of them had the courage to speak up. And it gets even darker. Cassie said those same assistants were the ones handing out "I'm sorry" gifts after violent episodes. But that wasn't all. They were also allegedly organizing the infamous freak-offs, booking hotel rooms, setting the scene with baby oil and Astroglide. Like, seriously, what kind of job is that? And here's where it really hits home. After one of those traumatic encounters, Cassie claims both Diddy's head of security and his assistant saw the shape she was in, and they broke down crying. Yeah, it was that bad. If even half of this is true, you can bet those staff members are getting hit with subpoenas fast. Oh, and don't forget Harve Pierre. His name came up in a whole separate lawsuit filed by a Jane Doe, and word is he's on the witness list too.
Searched deep within my heart and spirit, and I wanted to make a change and move to a new plateau in my life. And one of the ways in which I did that was to change my name. It sort of divorced me from the past and all the hang-ups that go along with it, as it's been well chronicled in deep dispute with my record label. And
which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. We had some issues that were basically about ownership of the music and how often I was supposed to record and things like that. I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
Now here's where things take a seriously dark turn. One Jane Doe said Harvey Pierre talked her into flying from Detroit to Jersey, only for her to end up allegedly assaulted by both Harve and Diddy. That's not just messy, it's downright terrifying, and the names just keep coming. Young Miami, who was reportedly on Diddy's payroll, wasn't just a bystander either. Rumor has it she was actually transporting substances for him. Her name even popped up during jury selection. So this isn't just about celebrities anymore. It's hitting everyone in Diddy's inner circle. Another name that raised eyebrows, Dallas Austin. Most people know him as a music producer, but what many don't realize is he was childhood friends with Kim Porter. Diddy's late partner. Ever since Kim's sudden and mysterious death, there's been speculation about whether Diddy had anything to do with it. And now that Dallas's name has entered the chat, people are wondering if a major piece of this puzzle is about to fall into place. Then there's Lori Ann Gibson, the choreographer from Making the Band. Back in 2007, she actually filed a police report saying Diddy picked up a chair and threatened her on set. That's some seriously unhinged behavior. And let's not forget Aubrey O'Day. She's been very vocal, loud, and clear, backing Cassie's claims and sharing her own stories about Diddy's alleged inappropriate behavior. Former Danity Kane member Dawn Richard, she's part of this too. She even filed her own lawsuit accusing Diddy of serious misconduct. According to her, the abuse didn't just happen behind closed doors, it started right there on the set of Making the Band. She said Diddy would tear down the girls with degrading insults all while the cameras were rolling. And when it came time to make music, Dawn says it got worse. She claimed he'd force her to rehearse for hours, no food, no breaks, no sleep, until she was completely worn out. And that's when he allegedly took advantage of her in her most vulnerable state. But she didn't stop there. Dawn also dropped a major bomb. She says she personally witnessed Diddy get physical with Cassie while he was high. That's a first-hand account, and it could blow this entire case wide open.
First Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
All right, now let's talk about the men who've been connected to Cassie. First up, Michael B. Jordan. His name did pop up, but not because he did anything wrong. He was mentioned in Cassie's lawsuit just because there was some flirty energy between them back in 2015. That's it. Nothing shady. But here's the thing. The prosecution seems to be gearing up to bring in as many of Cassie's exes as possible, and that brings us to Kid Cudi. Now, his name stands out for a reason. Cassie admitted she had a short fling with Cudi back in 2011 during a rough patch with Diddy. But when she got back with Diddy, he found old emails between her and Cudi, and he lost it. According to the lawsuit, Diddy was so furious he waited until he knew Cudi was home, and then had his car blown up. And here's the crazy part. Kid Cudi's car actually did explode in his own driveway. So that part, not just drama, that happened for real. And with this case heating up, more names are expected to surface, but here's one nobody saw coming. Prince. Yeah, that Prince. His name showing up was a total plot twist. And now people are starting to ask, did Prince know something? There are whispers that he might have had a mysterious tape, something damning, on Diddy. And some folks are wondering, could that have had anything to do with his death? It sounds wild, but here's the part that gives people chills. Just days before he died, Prince seemed to know something was about to go down. He posted a photo of himself with a now deleted caption, "Just when you thought you were safe." Yeah, that's haunting. And at his last public appearance at Paisley Park after reportedly getting some kind of medical treatment, he told the crowd, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." Like, who says something like that unless they feel something's coming? And then, just like that, boom, he was gone. Found unresponsive at his home in Minnesota. Official cause of death? An accidental fentanyl overdose? They say it came from counterfeit Vicodin pills, but let's be honest, people have never really bought that. Prince was known for living clean, no drugs, no chaos. So how does someone like that end up dying from a synthetic opioid? Did he have medical issues? That's the official narrative. But a lot of folks believe there's way more to the story than just his health.
Your life and getting you into rehab.
Yes, he did. I had a long time kind of battling those things, and after my father passed, it got really bad. And so I called up Big Bruh to help. He said, okay.
You see, Prince wasn't just a music legend, he was a warrior. For decades, this man went head-to-head with big corporations over who really owned his music. He fought hard for artist rights, making sure creators got paid what they deserved. And some folks believe he paid the ultimate price for standing his ground. There's been long-standing chatter nothing confirmed about whether Warner Brothers had anything to do with what happened to him. His fans? A lot of them are convinced there's way more to the story. They truly believe the very system Prince spent years fighting might have played a role in trying to silence him. Let's rewind. Prince signed with Warner back in 1977 when he was just 18. His first few albums between 78 and 81 didn't exactly blow the charts up, but Warner stuck with him. Why? Because they saw something. He was a visionary, even back then. Someone who gave the label credibility. And they weren't wrong. Then came 1982. Just a year after MTV hit the scene, Prince dropped new music that finally cracked the US top 10. That was the turning point. He didn't just make music, he built a whole world around himself. He got the power of visuals before most artists did. Music videos? To him, they weren't just for promo, they were a weapon. A way to shape his image, take control of his narrative, and make sure nobody else defined him but him. By the time Purple Rain dropped in 1984, Prince wasn't just a star, he was a movement. Fans were copying everything. His look, his style, his sound. He wasn't just in the game, he was the game. No one was touching him. But behind all that success, Prince was pissed. He hated the fact that Warner Brothers owned his name, literally, and every song he put out under it. Think about that. You're one of the greatest artists of all time and you don't even own your own name? So what did he do? He flipped the script, changed his name to a symbol, that iconic love symbol squiggle, and became the artist formerly known as Prince. It was his way of saying, loud and clear, I'm not playing by your rules anymore. He spoke out, called out the system, and never backed down. Now here's where it gets complicated. While Prince was fighting to free himself from corporate control, guess who was teaming up with those same folks? Yep, Diddy. Diddy cut a major joint venture deal with Warner Music Group, the same Warner that Prince was battling. The deal gave Warner a 50% stake in Bad Boy Records. That meant Warner handled both digital and physical distribution of everything in Bad Boy's catalog, past and future. They even helped manage the roster globally. And Diddy, he was all in. Proud of it. He even said, there have been a lot of boutique labels that come and go, but we're still here. To him, this partnership meant they had the financial firepower to keep dominating the game.
Hard at all. It was a 2-second phone call. He's gone. I had been preparing for 2 years, so I knew that it was coming.
What does that mean?
He said it a couple of years ago.
What would he say?
What he said was, I've done everything that I've come to do. So I was crushed for about two.
And this is where things start to get real creepy. Word is, Prince might have known all about those freaky no-holds-barred parties Diddy was throwing, and he wanted nothing to do with them. According to Jason Lee, the first wild Diddy party he ever went to was actually at Prince's house. Yeah, Prince's house. But here's the weird part. Jason said nobody was allowed to bring their own security. Think about that. Prince let Diddy use his mansion for one of those over-the-top Hollywood parties, but made damn sure no outside security got in. Sounds like control was very intentional. And knowing Prince, private, calculated, always one step ahead, you gotta wonder, were there cameras rolling the whole time? This is Prince we're talking about. He was always thinking 10 moves ahead. What if he recorded everything? What if he stashed that footage somewhere, or handed it off to someone he trusted before he died? Now, with all these rumors swirling that his name might come up in Diddy's trial, people are connecting the dots. And the picture, it's not looking good. What if Prince knew too much? What if those tapes do exist? Could that have anything to do with the way he died? And here's the part that hits hard. Prince's sister, Tyka Nelson, once said, he told her he was in trouble just days before he passed. Most folks used to think they weren't that close, but insiders say otherwise. They didn't just share blood, they shared secrets. In a 2018 interview, Tyka opened up about how deep their bond really went. She said they were super close growing up. Their parents even told Prince it was his job to protect her, so wherever he went, she went. They weren't just siblings, they were ride or die. And it wasn't just emotional support. Prince literally saved her life at one point. When Tika was struggling with addiction, it was Prince who stepped in and got her into rehab. He didn't just sit back and watch, he acted. That's the kind of loyalty they had. But what'll really break your heart? Tyga said Prince started preparing her not days before he died, but 2 years before. Like, he knew something was coming. That's some chilling next-level foresight. She even told the Minnesota Star-Tribune that their final phone call, just 4 days before he passed, felt off. She tried to get real with him, but he kept dodging her questions. Every time she'd get serious, he'd crack a joke or change the subject. They laughed for a second, like the good old days. But under that, something wasn't right. She said, I asked him, "How are you really?" But he didn't open up. He knew she was worried, and he definitely had something heavy on his mind. But he kept it locked up tight, and that silence, it spoke volumes. Whatever was going on, he chose not to say it out loud. Maybe that was his way of protecting the people he loved. One thing we do know for sure, there was a lot going on behind the scenes in Prince's final days. Whether any of it connects back to Diddy, that's still one big tangled mystery. And if Prince's name really does get dragged into this courtroom storm, only time will tell what else comes to light. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Prince really had recordings of Diddy's freak-off parties? And if he did, why didn't he ever drop them? Was he planning to? Or was he protecting someone? Drop your takedown in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been following this insane story. And hit that bell, because trust me, this saga, it's far from over.